Hi everyone, Mike Riley here with Gaining Altitude Financial, and it is National Truth and Reconciliation Day, or also known as Orange Shirt Day in 2025. And I thought it was important to talk about some of the fundamental economic factors that exist in this country as a result of colonialism, the Indian Act, and the ongoing systemic issues that really do cause a difference in the ability for First Nations and Metis people to participate in the economy to the same degree that others who have been here for generations, especially from Western Europe, have had. Now, I'm not an expert in this, other than as my role as a financial advisor. And of course, some things I'm going to say are generalizations. It's not true of everyone. But I think we can agree that one of the reasons why we have National Truth and Reconciliation Day is to recognize that for many, many years, the impact of national and provincial policies have had a significant impact in keeping First Nations and Métis people, Indigenous Canadians, out of the economic opportunities. And they really break down into four different areas. And these are specific to the family level. I work in a family advising practice, and this is what I see. So one of the first things that's foundational is that having to live on reserve, the reserve system itself, and the perpetuation of exclusion within the band has led to an inability for First Nations people to access capital or credit. Being able to build your credit and access capital from institutions is one of the main ways that most people start to build wealth. And because of the banking systems were exclusionary, that kept Indigenous Canadians from being able to apply for a loan and start to build up that credit. So that, of course, leads to being unable to build equity. Where do most Canadians build equity? Well, they build it in their primary residence. So if you can't access capital, it's very unlikely that you're going to be in a position to purchase a home or a business and start to build up capital and equity within your portfolio, which then you can leverage to do other things. So Canadians that are able to build up equity and start to accumulate assets are in a position to support the next generation in education. So if you're unable to accomplish the first two, the likelihood that you're going to be in a position to have children attend post-secondary education is low. Now, that doesn't even just mean the access to post-secondary education that is available to Indigenous Canadians. There's lots of great programs, but they tend to go underused. And part of that is because this access to or supporting for education exists long before you're graduating from high school. So if these two factors are unstable or unsupported, the children growing up in that environment are unfortunately not provided with the ability to even consider post-secondary education, or haven't been in the past. So while this may not apply in every situation today, past generations have had that, and we see that in number 4, which is the lack of intergenerational wealth transfer. So we've started to build up credit, we've built up equity, and now when one generation dies, that equity passes on to the next generation to start to build up. So you're thinking about receiving an inheritance and a will. Again, not everybody has parents that have had assets that will transfer to them through an inheritance. But even a small amount, from great-grandparents to grandparents to parents to this generation, that all adds up. Unfortunately, Indigenous Canadians, each generation has started from the ground floor, because they have not been able to have, the system has prevented them from being able to build these things up. So I know that's simplistic. I hope it's not controversial, because there is data that supports this position. But I think one of the things that we should be doing in terms of our truth and reconciliation is recognizing that the playing field has not been level for Indigenous, First Nations, Metis Canadians economically, as it has been for Canadians who have been here for generations, mostly again from Western Europe, but even newly arrived immigrant Canadians, second generations, have had the ability to have some of that intergenerational wealth transfer that has been excluded for First Nations. So when you're wearing your orange shirt today, let's remember that it isn't just about the residential school system. It hasn't just been about the impacts to the environment, but our Indigenous brothers and sisters, making sure that they are included economically just like everyone else. If you have any comments or questions, I'd love to hear from you. And that's Mike Riley with Gaining Altitude Financial.